You know, a funny thing happened to me the other day. It actually was pretty funny. So, apparently, the video that I last did on AEW, where I was talking about how bad the show was and how terrible the storylines were for a couple weeks ago, apparently, some AEW fans. And here's the thing, this doesn't surprise me because I see how these people behave. You know, on Twitter, of course, the cesspool of humanity. And I saw a screenshot of the title of the video, of like the video itself. And the caption from the guy was, all these AEW hate channels. So the guy didn't take time to watch the video. He didn't do any research on this channel. He just assumed that because I was criticizing AEW, that I'm an AEW hate channel, which is honestly one of the stupidest things you could possibly say, because every month or so I come on here and I tell you how great their pay-per-views are. And I tell you that Tony Khan's a good talent scout. Not a good booker, but he certainly knows good wrestling and good talents. You can't take that away from him. And then I read the replies, and it was just so funny. And it's the typical BS, like, oh, they're making money from AEW hate. This is how these channels survive. Even though the vast majority of my content is not about wrestling, I do a couple wrestling videos a week, maybe. They didn't even bother to click into the video to listen to it or to go online and actually research the channel. It was just all assumptions and all just complete nonsense. It reminds me of a couple years ago when I made a video with a joke title where I talked about Sonic turning into an SJW, and a bunch of people, including some of the people at Star Wars that work on Star Wars, were going around saying I was like a white male, like, like a chauvinist or whatever. And it's funny to me because the absolute emotional sort of way of thinking from these people, it's not about the truth. It's not about finding out the reality of situations. It's about, I want to be angry today. I want to have a reason to be mad. And this video title gives me a reason to be mad. If you watch the video, you heard me. I was going hard on AEW, but I was also being very fair. And I've always been very fair when it comes to AEW and WWE. But it's funny to me because it created this, like, all these, like, AEW people. And here's why I'm even making this video. The AEW fans that behave like this, these irrational fans that drink the Kool-Aid and follow Tony Khan like he's some kind of religious leader, they're actually a big problem. Now, I'm not saying that WWE doesn't have fans like this, because they do. So does everything else. There's football fans like this. There's basketball fans like this. Unfortunately, we live in a world where people are just not that smart and not that interested in learning about the truth. They'd rather be angry at a lie than be calm about the truth. And I didn't even get mad. I actually replied to a couple of them, and I was like, yeah, I'm an AEW hate channel, except for all the videos that I put out praising AEW. They didn't even bother to even look at the titles of the other videos. It's wild to me. And a big reason as to why a lot of wrestling fans, specifically some of the ones that I know who I'm friends with, no longer interact with AEW Twitter or with AEW fans, is because of the way the fan base behaves. It's because of how they treat people, because of how they constantly are putting people down who criticize AEW, putting people down who are being fair, even people who are giving constructive criticism or suggestions or ways to improve it. They just shun them. You know, O'Shea Jackson Jr., which is Ice Cube's son, made comments about how AEW does not do a good job introducing the foreign wrestlers to American wrestling fans. Like, they bring in guys from CMLL and New Japan that the hardcore fans like myself and many of you know about, but the casual fans just don't know. And so you're supposed to care about this match but you don't even know what one of the participants, or sometimes both of them, you don't know their story, their motivation, you know nothing. And they sit there and they think that you should do your own research, which I'm actually for that. I am actually for people doing their own research. However, to treat people the way they do, where they just attack them and they brigade them, it's just so like toxic. And I've dealt with it a lot in many different communities, and it's such fake anger. I refuse to believe that somebody could actually be angry at an anti AEW video unless there's something mentally wrong with them. And there usually is. There's a lot of mental illness in wrestling. There's a lot of Make-A-Wish kids, and God bless them, like those kids deserve to be treated well. They really do. Some of them have terminal illnesses. I mean, they really do. But then there's a section of people in the fandom who are of low intellect. I'm not talking about the Make-A-Wish kids. They're okay. But I mean, like, there are some that are of low intellect, but they're also rude, obnoxious assholes. And they make it very hard to speak to them because they just either don't listen, they do confirmation bias. I wasn't even upset. That video did like 24,000 views, which is big for this channel. You know, and I certainly did not make that video because I hate AEW or because I wanted to make money. This YouTube channel is not my primary source of income. Everybody who's on here knows that. The videos on this channel are just done to talk about things that I want to talk about. Movies I've seen, TV shows I've seen, news, giving my thoughts on things. You know, that's what this channel's about, even video game stuff. So it's just funny because these AEW people are so blinded by their loyalty to a billionaire, to a guy who literally has endless amounts of money, who doesn't give a damn about you. I mean, that may be a bit harsh. He does. I think Tony Khan does care about some of the fans. I would think he does, but he doesn't know you. You don't know him. They pretend like they have AEW stock or they're like a shareholder. They treat the company like they own it. Now, again, I want to repeat, there's WWE fans like this too. But it just put a smile on my face because I know that I literally said in that video, if you're one of these AEW people who can't handle criticism, turn the video off. And instead of actually listening to the criticism and saying, you know what, this guy makes a point, I got labeled a AEW Hate Channel. I really don't care because those people are not my audience. I don't give a shit about them. I don't give a shit about their opinions. Most of them are mentally ill morons, or they're just stupid people. Just genuinely stupid people who are zombies who will never give up on AEW. But you know who will give up on AEW? The majority. Their ratings are continuously down. They've been dropping like crazy all year. There was a time when when a low AEW Dynamite was 900,000. That was a low episode, or 850,000. We're now in the 500,000s. So you can sit there and cry and moan about AEW hate channels and labeling people whatever you want, but in the real world, AEW is suffering. I don't give a damn about how much money Tony Khan's making from Warner Brothers Discovery or his new TV deal that Meltzer's always talking about. That doesn't matter to us. The guy's a billionaire. Let him make his money. Let him lose money. It doesn't matter. But what does matter is the fact that the show is not as fun to watch anymore, and that the arenas are empty, and that people are not watching. That's what they should be worried about. Because if this continues, the next time they have a TV rights renewal, it's not going to go the way they think. This needs to be fixed now, because to fix the problem of people not watching your show, it's going to take time. It's not going to take weeks. It'll take months, maybe even over a year, to get that audience back. People have given up on AEW. That is a fact. You can sit there and play games with yourself and say, well, it's the NFL, it's Kendrick Lamar. It's a different excuse every week. Oh, they were at a different time slot in the West Coast and this and that. It's always a different excuse. When in reality, the show is not that intriguing, the storylines are not that good, and people just don't care about the majority of the characters. That is a fact. That's something that is tangibly real. Not fiction like me being an AEW Hate Channel or AEW being this wonderful top tier company. It's not. It's just not. And I actually genuinely have pity for those people because they actually like believe in this. I don't know what you'd even call it. This fictional narrative that AEW is this revolutionary company. That's no, like there have been tons of companies that have come and gone throughout the years. Challenger brands. AEW is doing less numbers than TNA when TNA was putting on horrible shows every week. That's again another fact. So I found it funny. Like I really did that they got so, and again, you could read the comments and tell easily that people don't even watch the video. It's just coming up with conclusions based on the title. And oh my god, this video is getting traction. Oh my god, this person is crapping on Tony Khan. Tony Khan's not a good booker. If he was, Ring of Honor and AEW wouldn't be in the shape that they're in. That's a fact. Maybe he needs a break. Maybe he needs time off. He's just not a good booker. He's not a good storyteller. The Adam Cole MJF storyline is definitively proof of that. He has no idea what he's doing. And so they can sit there and they can ignore that and just label everybody a hater, which is a very immature, second grade, childish thing to do. I can't stand when somebody's like, you're a hater over like anything when you're criticizing it. It's such childish bullshit. Like, I just look at them and I'm like, you're supposed to be a grown up and you're behaving like a sixth grader. And my biggest issue has been that I actually mistakenly believe that people online are smart, normal people, and a lot of them are not. The internet has shown me that human beings are really, really stupid, vulnerable, gullible people. Not all of them. There's plenty of smart ones. Many of you would I would classify you as being a normal, a normal person who has critical thinking skills. These guys don't. They just see a title they don't like and they explode. They can't control their emotions. They explode over nothing. So it's just being, and then, somebody actually accused me. This one really made me laugh. Somebody accused me of being paid by WWE. A YouTuber with 80,000 subscribers on World of Geekdom is getting paid by WWE to shit on AEW. It's actually like, to come up with that logic, you have to be a special kind of person. You have to be a special short bus kind of person. You feel me? And I have pity for them. I really do. I'm not going to stop criticizing AEW, but I may stop for a little while because I'm not watching their show. I haven't seen the last 2 weeks of Dynamite. Maybe I'll watch Winter is Coming. Maybe I'll check it out. I'll definitely watch the pay-per-view because the pay-per-views are always good. But the TV is so bad. Like, I have no interest in watching the television. It's not interesting. It's not fun. It's repetitive. It's boring. It's just not a good show. Pay-per-view is different. But if I see something I don't like, I will say it. Nobody on this planet, no human being is going to stop me from making the kind of videos I want to make. You can try to shame me. You can try sending followers after me. It's not going to work. I'm never going to stop. I'm never going to stop being honest with you about how I feel. I don't care. Facts don't care about your feelings. That phrase is true. Let me know what you think.